A man changes his Wi-Fi password, then his neighbor calls 911. But when the police show up, they uncover something far more disturbing. Darius Coleman wasn't the type who sought attention. He worked remotely, kept his lawn immaculate, and only exchanged words with neighbors when absolutely necessary. Most people left him alone just the way he preferred. But all that changed after one small decision placed him squarely in the spotlight. It began on a Thursday afternoon in Crestwood, Missouri. Darius had just wrapped up a long stretch of work and decided to check his internet speed during a short break. His Wi-Fi had been sluggish lately, video calls stuttered, music lagged, and buffering became constant. At first he blamed his service provider, but something didn't add up. He opened his router settings and found a connected device he didn't recognize. The name wasn't a random string, it was clearly labeled Crestwood IO1. That was odd. Darius lived alone. His only devices were his phone, laptop, and TV. He never gave out his password, so who was on his network? Frustrated, he booted off all unknown devices and reset the password. Stepping outside for a stronger signal, he leaned against his house, tapping in the new credentials. That's when Melanie Foster saw him from her kitchen window. Darius stood in his driveway, eyes on his phone, fingers darting across the screen. To her, it looked suspicious. She had never trusted him, not for any real reason, just a gut feeling. He kept to himself, skipped block parties, and avoided small talk. Now, there he was, standing alone, doing something strange with his phone. Her imagination raced. Was he hacking something? She didn't know what or why, but something felt off. Without hesitation, she grabbed her phone and called 911. Yes, I'd like to report suspicious activity. My neighbor's outside messing with his phone. It doesn't look right. The dispatcher asked for details, but Melanie had none. She just repeated, he's doing something, I know it. Police were dispatched. Meanwhile, Darius had no clue his quiet break was about to spiral into chaos. But what neither of them realized was that the true danger had nothing to do with Darius at all. He had just saved his new password when the sirens wailed in the distance. At first he ignored them until the squad car slowed and parked right outside. Two officers stepped out. One of them tall, broad-shouldered. The tall, broad-shouldered man with sharp features was Detective Louis Navarro. His partner, Officer Belle Carter, was smaller in frame but carried herself with quiet authority. Darius exhaled slowly. Here we go. He didn't move as the officers walked toward him. Navarro's hand hovered near his belt, not on his gun, but close enough to send a silent warning. Sir, Navarro called out, voice measured. We got a report of suspicious activity. Mind telling us what you're doing? Darius frowned, glancing between the two officers. Suspicious activity. He was in his own driveway. I'm changing my Wi-Fi password, he said, voice steady with a touch of confusion. He knew how quickly things could escalate if he wasn't careful. Navarro exchanged a quick look with Carter before turning back. Do you live here? Darius almost laughed. Was that a real question? His car was in the driveway. His name was on the mailbox. Yeah, he said, crossing his arms. I've lived here for 3 years, but before Navarro could say another word, a voice cut through the air. He's lying. Darius turned. Melanie Foster stood on her porch, arms crossed, staring him down like the neighborhood watch captain. He's always outside doing something, she snapped, messing with his phone, watching people, and now he's just standing there, tapping away for 10 minutes straight. Darius blinked in disbelief. Was she serious? I was checking my router settings, he said flatly, because someone I don't know has been using my Wi-Fi. Melanie scoffed. Oh sure, and I'm just supposed to believe that. Navarro turned toward her. Ma'am, do you have any evidence Mr. Coleman has committed a crime? Melanie hesitated. Of course she didn't. Just a gut feeling. I don't know, she mumbled. I just think you should look into it. Navarro exhaled, clearly losing patience. He looked back at Darius. Sir, would you mind if we took a look at your router settings, just to clear this up? Darius clenched his jaw. He shouldn't have to prove anything. But he also knew how quickly things could go wrong. Fine, he muttered, unlocking his phone and opening the settings here. Take a look. Navarro leaned in, scanning the list of connected devices, and his expression changed. There it was. Crestwood IO1. Who owns that device? He asked. Darius shook his head. Not me. Officer Carter stepped closer, her brows raised. So someone's been using your Wi-Fi without your knowledge? Darius nodded. And I don't think they were just stealing internet. Check the logs. It's been running non-stop. Someone's been watching. Navarro's posture shifted. This wasn't just a neighborhood spat anymore. Melanie, still standing on her porch, looked suddenly uneasy. Wait, what do you mean watching? She asked. Darius turned toward her, eyes cold. I mean someone's been spying. And it's not just me, they've been watching it. Might be all of us. Silence fell over the front yard. Darius's words hit like a gut punch. Melanie, so certain she was in the right, now looked spying. That wasn't what she expected to hear. Navarro straightened, his tone turning serious. All right, he said. Let's get inside. I want to see exactly what we're dealing with. Darius didn't argue. He led the officers inside, his frustration simmering. He hadn't done anything wrong, and yet he was the one being questioned. Melanie lingered, hesitant. Something told her she needed to hear what came next. Inside, Darius placed his phone on the dining table and mirrored the router settings to his laptop screen. The list of devices loaded. There it was, again, Crestwood Dio 1. Still connected, still active. Officer Carter. Officer Carter leaned in, eyes scanning the data. Can you tell what kind of device this is? Darius clicked through the settings, fingers flying. Not exactly, he muttered, digging into the activity logs until his hands froze mid. Navarro saw the shift in his expression. What is it? Darius swallowed hard. It's been accessing camera feeds. The room went still. Melanie blinked. I don't get it. What camera feeds? Darius hesitated, then turned the laptop toward them. My home security cameras. Someone's been logging in and watching the live feeds. Carter's face tensed. Are you saying someone's spying on you through your own system? Darius nodded slowly. That's exactly what I'm saying. But his face paled as he kept scrolling. The deeper he went, the worse it got. His system had flagged IP addresses. Some matched his network, but others didn't. This is bad, he whispered. Navarro leaned in. What do you mean? Darius pointed to the screen. They're not just watching me, they're watching other people too in the neighborhood. Melanie stepped back, shaking her head in disbelief. No, that can't be. Darius looked at her directly. You're sure about that? He clicked another log. A video feed popped opened in hallway, then a living room, a bedroom. Melanie gasped. Wait, she didn't finish. Darius didn't need her to. He recognized it instantly. It was her house. She stumbled back, hand over her mouth. Navarro's tone sharpened. How the hell is this even possible? Darius clenched his jaw. If I had to guess, someone said, with up a fake Wi-Fi network. It looks normal. People connect without thinking, and once they do, their devices get hijacked. Carter's face darkened. A man in the middle attack. Darius nodded grimly. Exactly. Melanie's voice quivered. So someone's been watching me, my family. Darius didn't blink. That's exactly what I'm saying. Melanie collapsed into a chair, hands trembling. Oh my God. Navarro's jaw tightened. We need to find out who's doing this and fast. But none of them realized just how close the culprit really was. Navarro grabbed his radio, calling in cybercrime support. This just turned major, he told Carter. If someone's running a surveillance net like this, it's not just an invasion, it's a felony. Carter nodded, eyes locked on the screen. And if we don't stop them now, who knows what else they've already seen? Darius, still glued to his laptop, started digging. He wasn't a hacker, but he knew enough about security to trace the data's destination. He pulled up the IP logs and froze. This can't be right. Navarro turned. What is it? Darius rotated the laptop toward them. The data isn't going to a random server. It's going to an address right here. In this neighborhood. Melanie's eyes widened. You mean someone close by is behind this? Darius nodded. It's coming from a house just a few doors down. Navarro's face turned dark. Can you identify which one? Darius worked quickly, cross-referencing, timestamps with signal, strength. Within minutes he had it. His stomach dropped. He knew the address. Melanie recognized it too. Her face went pale. No, she whispered, hacking ahead. Melanie started. That's but Darius cut her off, his voice icy. That's Brandon's house. Brandon Foster, Melani's own nephew, a 22-year-old college student who'd moved in with her a few months earlier. He was quiet, always on his computer, barely spoke to anyone. And suddenly, things started to click into place. Melanie's face went ghostly pale. No, that doesn't make any sense. Brandon isn't. He wouldn't. Officer Carter stepped in. We need to talk to him now. Melanie hesitated. She didn't want to believe it. But deep down, something in her gut twisted. I'll take you to him, she whispered. Darius stood up. I'm coming to. Navarro's gaze turned sharp. No, you stay here. Let us handle this. Darius clenched his jaw. He hated waiting on the sidelines, especially when he was the one who uncovered it all. But pushing wouldn't help. Fine, he muttered. But you'd better get the truth out of him. The truth, however, was worse than any of them imagined. Melanie's hands trembled as she led Navarro and Carter down the street toward her house. Every step felt like a betrayal. Brandon, the kid she helped raise, supported through school, he couldn't be involved in something like this. But the deeper voice inside her whispered, what if it is him? She opened the door, calling out, Brandon, can you come downstairs for a minute? No response. Navarro looked at Carter, then moved forward. We're going up. Melanie didn't argue. She just wrapped her arms around herself, breath shaky. They climbed the stairs, stopping at Brandon's bedroom door. It was silent. Navarro knocked hard. Brandon, this is the police. We need to talk. Still no response. Then movement. A chair, scraping footsteps. Carter's hand hovered near. Her gun opened the door. Now slowly, the knob turned. The door creaked open. Brandon Foster stood there, nervous, pale, eyes flicking between the officers and his aunt. His hands fidgeted restlessly. What's going on? He asked, voice tight. Navarro studied him closely. We have reason to believe you've been accessing private security cameras in this neighborhood. You want to explain that? Brandon didn't react much, but his fingers curled slightly, like gripping an invisible rope. That's crazy, he scoffed. I don't know what you're talking about. Carter narrowed her eyes. Mind if we check your laptop? His jaw tensed. You don't have a warrant. Navarro stepped closer. Brandon, we can get one. But right now, you have a chance to tell us the truth before this gets worse. A long, tense pause. Then Brandon exhaled, running a hand through his hair. Look, I wasn't doing anything illegal, okay? Navarro cut him off. Then why is your IP address linked to a network breach involving multiple homes? Brandon froze. Melanie's voice cracked. Brandon, please tell me you're not involved in this. His eyes flicked to hers, and for the first time, his mask cracked. I didn't mean for it to get this far, he whispered. It started as a joke. I just wanted to see if I could get into someone's Wi-Fi, just to mess around. Navarro's tone sharpened. So you admit you hacked into the network? Brandon hesitated, then gave a small nod. Melanie's breath caught in her throat. Brandon kept going, his voice picking up speed. It was just supposed to be a prank. But then I saw the security cameras, and I got curious. Carter's eyes narrowed. Curious or obsessed? Brandon didn't answer. Navarro had heard enough. How many people have you watched? Silence. Then Brandon's voice dropped to a whisper. I don't know. Melanie staggered back, hand over her mouth. Oh my God. For the first time, Brandon looked at her and regret flickered across his face. I swear I wasn't trying to hurt anyone, he said quietly. Navarro didn't let him finish. Brandon Foster, you are under arrest for unauthorized access of a computer network and unlawful surveillance. Brandon's face drained of color. Where'd no eye, but Carter was already pulling out her cuffs. Melanie turned away, unable to bear the sight. Tears filled her eyes. Darius had been right all along, and the worst part, she had called the police on him when the real threat had been living under her own roof. But it wasn't over yet. Brandon didn't resist. He stood there quietly, wrists bound in cuffs, eyes on the floor as Navarro read him his rights. It was over. Melanie's breath trembled. She couldn't look at him. This was her nephew, the boy she had fed, supported, believed in, and he had betrayed their entire neighborhood. Navarro guided Brandon to the door, but paused just outside. Darius was still standing on the sidewalk, watching. You were right, Navarro said. If you hadn't caught this, we might never have known. Darius didn't respond at first. He exhaled, glancing between Brandon and Melanie. Then finally he spoke. You know what's crazy? His tone was calm, but the meaning landed like a blow. I was out here minding my own business, changing my Wi-Fi password, and somehow, I was the one who had the cops called on me. Melanie flinched. She had no excuse, none that mattered. I was wrong, she said softly. I made an assumption, and it wasn't fair. Darius let the words hang in the air for a long moment. Then, shaking his head, he turned back toward his house. I don't need an apology, he said over his shoulder. Just do better. And with that, he went inside. Navarro and Carter exchanged a look, then led Brandon toward the patrol car. Melanie stayed behind, alone in the street. The truth had been in front of her the entire time, but she had been too focused on the wrong person. And that mistake, it would haunt her for a long, long time. Assumptions have consequences. Jumping to conclusions based on fear, bias, or paranoia can destroy innocent lives, while the real danger hides in plain sight. Before you judge, pause, observe, listen, because the truth might not be what you expect. If this story opened your eyes, share it. Someone out there needs this reminder today.